What's going on, guys? Welcome back or to the channel. Mindset Diesel here. Today I got a little bit of information for you guys. If you can't tell by the title already, we're going to be talking about how I bought a $70,000 vehicle at the age of 28. Now, a lot of people might think that, hey, $70,000 is not a whole lot of money, and you're right. It's not a whole lot of money. Some people go out and they buy Lamborghini, McLaren, Ferrari, Audi R8s, Lotuses, stuff like that, big name, high-end hypercars, and that's great, and some of them are younger than us. But what I want to get at is, like I said at the beginning when I started this channel, is I'm going to take you from where I am, middle class, middle class, higher middle class, or not higher, upper middle class, to how to be successful, how to get the things that you want, your dream car, your dream job, whatever it is. But today we're going to be talking about how I bought a $70,000 truck. And real quick, just so you guys know, I'm not trying to, clickbait you or anything. I have the window tag for my truck. It's right here. See if you can see that. I believe right there you can see $70,715 MSRP for the truck that I bought. It's 2018. I know I bought it in 2019, right after the new year, but still new year. So let's dive into it. How did I buy it? Well, I didn't start out with a $70,000 vehicle. I started out with a Cadillac Eldorado when I was a kid, and I always loved vehicles. Always loved the high end cars, Bugatti, Pagani, the Huayra, the Zonda. Then you get in the Koenigsegg, they have the Agera, and they got the Agera RS, the Agera RS1, the Regera, the Jesko now. Bugatti started out with the Veyron, and now we got the Chiron, and it's just going to keep going. Lamborghini, they did a great job. They made the Gallardo, and it was like, wow, the Gallardo was crazy. I remember when the Gallardo came out, and I was just like, I want one of those. And then, they keep stepping it up. Now you have the Aventador, the Huracan, and whatever else they have next. I had the chance to actually see Centenario in person, and it was just like, holy cow, that's like the Batmobile. So everybody's got to start somewhere. I started with the Cadillac Eldorado. It was my first car when I was, I think I was 16, almost 17 when I got that car. I've driven everything, though. I've driven beaters. I've driven a minivan once when I was in high school. I had a crotch rocket for a little bit. It was a used one that myself and my uncle had to build up. When I was in the military, my first vehicle that I ever bought on my own was a used Audi A4. After I got out, I ended up trading that in for a Challenger, just because the Challenger was cheap. It was like a, $32,000, $35,000 car. And then recently this year is when I pulled the trigger. I was like, you know what? I've always wanted a big truck, always wanted a diesel. So I finally got my Mega Cab 2500 diesel, and it's been a great truck. But I want to talk to you about how I made that possible. I didn't just go out and buy a truck without doing work for it. I say I was lucky, but it depends on how you look at it. Luck. But I was in the military, ended up having to medically retire from the military. So I get a check, for being disabled from the VA and stuff. Regardless, I still have a daytime job right now. We're going to try to get away from the daytime job because I can't be working the 9 to 5s. I can't work for the man who's telling me how to do things when I disagree. And you can't always tactfully disagree with somebody. If they're in charge of stuff, they want to be in charge, and they want you to know they're in charge. So the best way to do things the way you want to do them is do it yourself. Start your own business. But having said that, I wasn't 20, I wasn't 18 when I bought a $70,000 vehicle. I was 28. Took the military. It took, going back to school after the military to, do what I'm doing now. And then, I decided, I finally, like we talked about prior, finally decided, hey, let's do the YouTube thing. Let's do, e-commerce business. Aside from the job stuff and everything, though, I do a little bit in cryptocurrency, not a ton, and I've invested in the stock market a little bit. Right now, mainly my investments are mutual funds. They pay dividends. So it's a great way. But to get a $70,000 vehicle, you have to decide what you want. Okay, do you want to go out and party all the time? Do you want to go out to eat fancy dinners all the time? And I'm talking about for an average person, or somebody who's middle to upper middle class, and they want a nicer vehicle. If $70,000, you're talking about BMWs, Audis, not a Range Rover like the regular Range Rover, but you get a Evoque, or you can get a there's a couple other models of Range Rover that you can get for around the $70,000 price range. So to get those things, you have to sacrifice a little bit. There's always sacrifices, no matter what you do, who you are, where you come from. You're going to sacrifice either your time, your money, both, to get what you want. And that's okay, because everybody's on the pursuit for happiness. So to get my truck, I decided, there's some subscription stuff I was looking at. You always see those commercials. Well, you don't need an app to tell you that you're spending money in places you don't need to be spending money. So I canceled some of my subscriptions, and don't get me wrong, these are some great, apps that you can buy or subscribe to for a monthly subscription. But, Pandora, you're gonna see, or you're gonna hear, you're gonna definitely hear the advertisements on regular radio, right? So, if I'm listening to a radio station, then I don't mind a 30-second ad here and there. If, I get to choose what I'm listening to, that's not a big deal. So I canceled that subscription. I also had iTunes, or, Apple Music, and I love that. You download whatever you want, listen to it ad-free, but you're spending $11 a month. It doesn't make sense. So I stopped doing that stuff. There were a couple other subscriptions I stopped, and then you got to think about eating and drinking. That's what kills most Americans, okay? You don't need to go to a bar all the time, okay? I drink. I'm not going to judge drinkers who do go out to bars. You do what you want, but if you're going out and spending $8, $9 on a beer every night, and usually you're not just having one, then that adds up, okay? If you're going out to a dinner, 3 or 4 times a week, and it's not fast food, then you're going to be spending a little bit of money, and that money does add up. If you take just a 30-day period, and say you eat out 3 to 4 times a week, and that bill for that one time is around $50 or $60, and you're going out 3 or 4 times a week, you can be anywhere from the $180 roughly. Let's say it only costs you $50 a time, so anywhere from $150 to the max. If you're going out 4 times a week and it's $60, that's $240. That's a lot of money just for going out, and that's 1 week. Okay, times that by 4, and you're just saying, holy cow. So, being middle class, you're going to finance your vehicle. It doesn't matter unless you just have a ton of cash, but then we wouldn't be making this video, because we're not talking about middle class, we're talking about upper class. That 1%, that, those high earners making, 2, 3, 400,000 plus a year. So you're going to finance your vehicle. The main thing is you need to get a low interest rate. If you have a ton of credit card debt, if you have a ton of student loan debt, it's going to jump that interest rate. And, you might not think much of it, but if you buy a $70,000 vehicle and you're, 5% or above in your interest rate, then you're looking at paying close to $100,000, if not more, for that $70,000 vehicle. Let me back up, okay? Because I know I'm gonna have trolls saying, "Oh, well, it's not quite that much." Okay, let's estimate. You're gonna be paying around $90,000 to let's say $110,000 for that $70,000 vehicle, when you could have been paying a lot less with an interest rate. So the first thing is you need to get your bills in order. So not only do you need to control spending, but bills. And by bills, I mean any outstanding credit that you owe. So credit cards, student loans, consumer loans, anything like that, just pay it down, okay? Save some of that money that you'd be spending on dinners or going out, or whatever it is that you're doing. If you're serious and you want to climb up, and whether it's a car or a house, whatever it is, if you're wanting to save for that, then start out by paying off your debt. That's the only way you're going to get ahead. You can put your money in a savings account, that's great, but if you think about it, inflation is a lot higher than that little, 0.2%? I have to look it up right now. But that minuscule amount of interest that you're gaining in a regular savings account. That's why I always tell people, if you're going to save your money, put it in an IRA, really in a Roth IRA, a 401k. Put it in the stock market. And if you're not, well versed in stocks and bonds, then put it in mutual funds. Give your money to somebody, which is basically what a mutual fund is. It's saying, hey, here's this money, I want you to invest it, and they'll give you what you want. And you usually choose high risk, medium risk, or low risk types of mutual funds, and then whoever you're investing with will invest that money accordingly. And by doing that takes all the thinking work from you and puts it on that institution or that bank or whoever it may be that's investing the money for the mutual fund. So that's really important to do. I would never recommend anybody just keep rolling money into your regular savings account. You're never going to make any money that way. Maybe in a money market savings account, but definitely not in a regular savings account. You're just throwing money away, because inflation beats interest rates for savings accounts. So really, if you took $50,000 today and put it in your savings account, you're going to be losing probably $100,000 plus, in 30 years. And you got to think long term for that kind of thing. But pay your bills off, okay? Pay those off. And not only so you don't have to waste that extra money towards those bills when you're making a big purchase, but also to lower the interest rate, because that's going to just help you out. You're going to have more money while you're paying that vehicle off, okay? And people, ask, well, how long should I take out my loan for? Should I do 5 years? Should I do 4 years? Should I do 6 years? And that's really subjective. Depends on who you are. First thing is, if you have the money, just don't get a loan. Just buy the vehicle flat out. You can get it for a lot cheaper. If you show up with cash, then the dealership's going to give you even a larger deduction, because they want that cash. They don't want to mess with banks or anything like that. They want the money. But if you are financing, I would never recommend above a 72-month loan, which is 6 years. I would never recommend above that. And I believe that's about average. I think, most people go between 60 months and 72 months. And that's fine, but as far as your interest rate goes, if you're paying any more than 5 or 6%, you really need to take a step back, which even that is on the high end of my recommendation. I say once you get up to 5 or 6%, don't even you can't do it right now, or you shouldn't do it right now if you want to save money both in short and long term. But those would be my caps. Really, you want to shoot for an interest rate close to zero. Sometimes you get to it, sometimes you can't. Usually it's like 2.99 is a lot of times the best you can get. Don't quote me. I don't want to hear a bunch of comments. Oh, well, I got mine for 1.32. great for you, awesome. I'm just saying, from what I've seen from, big banks and small banks, usually it's about 2.99 is the lowest you can get down to, which is a really good rate. If you get 2.99, take it. I wish I had 2.99 on this truck. I didn't get it this time, but we'll see next time. As far as the truck goes, like I said, it was 70,715. Now I didn't pay that. That's what the truck is worth. That's what MSRP is saying it's worth. That's if you went in, you didn't talk to them at all, if there's no markdowns, there was no incentives going on, there's no discounts available to you, you'd pay $70,715, and then you're going to pay tax, title, you're going to pay whatever added fees they have, and then, they try to sell you stuff. And one of the good things I did get with this truck was lifetime oil changes, which was like $1,200. If you know anything about diesels, you're going to pay more than that in a lifetime of diesel getting oil changes. So $1,200 is it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I want lifetime oil changes, which is 2 oil changes a year, which is pretty standard. 2 oil changes a year isn't bad. That's around 10,000 to 12,000 miles a year. I know a lot of people drive more than that. A lot of people don't drive more than that. I'm just saying, if you get 2 oil changes a year and the oil change costs you $200, then in 3 years it's paid for itself. So that's awesome. Now, as far as affording the truck, when you buy things, you have to think about the cost of maintenance. A lot of people think, I can afford the vehicle. Well, you might be able to afford the vehicle, and that's true. And you might even think, the insurance. And you check the insurance online, and you're like, I can afford the insurance and the vehicle. But people don't think about maintenance fees, and they don't think about fuel costs, okay? Depending on what kind of fuel you get, whether it's diesel, gas, some vehicles, E85 if you're fancy. But normally it's going to be, diesel or gas, and even gas, you have low grade to premium. So you got to take into consideration, what kind of fuel does my vehicle have? How many miles a week do I drive, or a month do I drive for my budget? And then how much does that fuel usually cost? So I chose diesel, one, because the longevity of the engines. It's just a proven fact. Diesel engines last longer than gasoline engines. They burn the fuel more efficiently, and you get more miles per gallon out of a diesel engine than you would a gasoline engine. If you take my same truck and you put the gasoline version in it, which it does come like that, if you choose that option, you're going to lower your fuel economy. Now, people say, what about the difference between gas price and diesel price? Yeah, there's a difference, but really it's not that big of a difference right now. Locally, it's $3.85 a gallon for diesel, which isn't bad, I don't think. If you go out east, it gets lower. I'm talking about, Midwest. Since I'm in California, it's just fuel prices are outrageous, but that's another topic. So you have to take that into consideration. So I took it into consideration. I was like, no, I definitely want a diesel. I definitely want a truck. If I'm going to haul with it, which, I'm talking about side-by-sides, quads, and dirt bikes, or even, toy hauler to haul those toys in. It's like, I'm going to want a diesel. I'm not going to want a gas engine to do that. You're just going to wear the gas engine out a lot faster. So that's why I went with diesel. I went with a mega cab because I've got kids. You have to be realistic. A Challenger wasn't realistic anymore, and I found that out the hard way. Getting the kids in and out, it was just crazy. And I knew it wasn't a realistic vehicle, really. It was just something to get me to and from work. And it served its purpose. It was a great car, but luckily I got a good trade-in value on it, which is, really the third thing that people don't think about is the trade-in value on their current vehicle. So you don't want to be upside down on your car. You don't want to take a car where you owe $9,000 on it and they only give you $3,000 because you haven't taken care of it. It depreciated, things like that. So you have to think about, how much do I own this vehicle? How much are they going to give me? Realistically, you're not going to take a car and they're going to give you how much you owe most times if you do owe. Okay, even if you have a very nice vehicle, I just watched this YouTube video the other day where they took a Bugatti in, and they I forget which dealer it was. It was one of the franchise dealerships. CarMax, sorry. Whoop! Brain fart. But no, it was CarMax. They took a Bugatti in, and they offered $200,000 for the Bugatti when it's a $2.4 million car, and it's a one of one. It's customized. You can't get anywhere else. They're not going to make another one. You can't go to Bugatti and ask for it. They won't make it for you. So they offered $200,000 in a $2.4 million car, and their reasoning was, well, that's the most corporately. Their corporate office allows their people to offer for a vehicle. Doesn't matter how much the vehicle's worth, $200,000 is the limit. Doesn't matter what you bring in there. It'd be the Batmobile, $200,000. So think about that. And then you got to think about if you have kids. If you're single and you have a $50K plus a year job, really $50K is not that much money anymore, especially if you're in California. So let's say $75K plus job a year, and you're single, then do what you want. But if you want to save money, then take the things I said into consideration. There's always something to learn from what anybody says to you. But so yeah, I have kids, and I could get a 2-door car. I could get a Lotus for $70,000. A nice one, a decently nice one. But a 2-door vehicle with 2 seats isn't realistic for a single dad with 2 kids. So, if you're a single mom, depending on how many kids you have, is that vehicle realistic for its use? And that was a major, benefactor for getting a truck, is because I want to be able to go take my kids up to the mountains or to the beach and haul what we need, either place. We have a dog, it's really nice. My sons love it when I throw my dog Tank in the back of the truck, and we can just go somewhere and get Tank out real quick instead of having him, in the cab of the vehicle, running around, scratching, messing up your interior. I can just put him in the bed. My interior is good, and it's not going to affect the value of the vehicle, at a later date when I do decide to get rid of it, whether I sell it outright or I trade it in for a new vehicle. Now, I'll tell you ahead of time, the truck, it's staying for a long time. We have a lot to do to it. I've stated that in previous videos. But that's really how I afforded it. You gotta maintain your lifestyle and either sacrifice things to get other stuff that you want, or realize the stuff that you want really isn't worth the sacrifices. That's my 2 cents. That's how you afford a $70,000 vehicle, being upper middle class, and that's how you're going to afford it. There's no other way unless you have the money just to buy it, just to throw it away. But if you're trying to save, if you have kids, if you have a budget, if you're not making as much as some other people, then I think this will be a really beneficial video for you guys. If you haven't already, though, what I am going to ask you to do is go ahead and smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps out this channel so much, guys, you don't even know. With the YouTube algorithm, the more likes, the more subscribers, the higher up we get in the YouTube algorithm, the more viewers we have, the more videos I can do. And I want to apologize in this video for not doing previous videos after the first couple, because I took a little mental health break, took a little break, got my mind right, and now I'm back. We're going to be doing 3 videos a week, hopefully Monday, Wednesday, and then either Friday or Saturday. That way we have a great content coming out towards you guys. Again, if you want to, leave a comment down below and let us know if there's any content that you guys want to see, if there's any subjects you want us to bring up. For the most part, we're going to be talking about financial stuff and vehicles. Really, I love cars, and that's going to be a great big part of this channel, as well as finances. How to get from point A to point B realistically, not a pyramid scheme, not blowing smoke and clickbaiting you guys with the headline, just giving you honest facts and trying to help everybody out. And then, we'll be following the truck build as well. So we got a lot of great stuff coming in. Keep watching. Like I said, smash that like button. Smash it. Also subscribe. The more subscribers, the better we get. And the better I get, the better content you guys have to watch, because you don't want to see me sitting here for half an hour talking about nonsense without good equipment and without good ideas. So comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time.